Hello. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Gourd and Vine. The Gourd and Vine. My name is Clove. Clove. And I'll be assisting you today while you're here. I assume you've come in for some gourds and pumpkins today. Trying to get into the festive spirit. Yeah, with Halloween just a couple days away. I don't blame you. We get a little bit busy around this time of year. So, anything in particular that brings you in? Or just general decorations? Well, as you know, or maybe not know since it's your first time here, we have gourds that are sourced from local Hobbit-owned farms, and all of them are the absolute best of the crop. They are all hand-picked by the hobbits who own the farms, and they are sent to us so that we can sell them to you guys, the local town folk. We have all varieties. We have small ones, and we also have medium-sized ones. We also have some bigger gourds as well. So, I'll start to show you some of the smaller varieties that we have, and then we can move on to bigger varieties, okay? Alright. Since you don't really have anything in particular, I'm just going to show you what we have. So we'll start with this basket. This basket is full of small gourds of different varieties. Gourds are so interesting because they come in so many different colors, so many different styles, so many different shapes and sizes. So we're gonna pull from these first. Oh, the basket is not for sale, unfortunately. This is a family heirloom that's been in the family for generations. It fits well with the theme of our family business. This is indeed run by my family. So first, we do have a bundle of corn. It is decorative dried corn. They send us these with the pumpkins, just in case anybody's looking for something a little bit extra to spice up the feel of the room. Birds also like to feed on these sometimes. But it's beautiful with all the different colors. It's like a dark purple, a light purple, and different shades of yellow. Of course, wrapped at the top by the stalks. Would you like to take some of these home with you today? Do they have a place in your decor vision? Of course. I'll go ahead and put them aside for you. The next gourd that I'm going to pull out of the basket is going to be a very fun lumpy gourd. It looks like a small pumpkin, but also like an orange lumpy pear. It's got a small, about 1.5 inch long stalk, and it's covered in what look like little pumpkin warts. Really fun variety of gourds. This one is a little bit dirty on the back, but that's okay. It's just a little bit of mud. We've had quite a bit of rain here recently, so the mud is kind of clinging to the gourds in some spots. But it's easy enough to wash off. Did you want to look at other ones first before you decide? Okay, I'll show you all the gourds, and then as we reach the end of the gourds, variety that we have here, we'll decide which ones you want to take home with you, okay? Alright. Next, we have basically this perfect tiny pumpkin. It is just so darling with the stalk and how circular it is. This one doesn't have pretty much any dirt on it. It does have little pumpkin freckles. If you look closely, you can see all of the different freckles that it has on it. The different ridges. It is the smallest and most perfect little pumpkin. I wish the stem was a little bit more whimsical, but it is what it is. I think it's cute that it's a little bit curved. It's a little bit curved, and it has just the right amount of green in the stem. Alright, next up, we have a funkier variety. This one looks closer to a kind of like a zucchini kind of coloring. It looks much more like a vegetable than like a pumpkin or a gourd, but beautiful nonetheless. Signature warts all along the pumpkin with a bit of a pear shape. No stem. You'll notice that there's no stem on the top or the bottom. So we have a stemless gourd, and it is yellow, nice like a bumblebee kind of yellow, soft buttery yellow, with a dark hunter forest green, making these stripes up the sides. And along some of the warts you'll notice there are some orange spots. Which are really nice to add to the contrast. Gives it a little bit of a unique coloring. We will continue along with some of our unique gourds. This one is going to be a gourd that does not have any warts. It looks smooth and feels smooth to the touch. To the touch, to the touch. This one does have the smallest stem at the top here. A nice little addition to the top. But it almost looks like a bird. This is like its little beak right here. And this is the head and the body of the bird. Looks very bird-like. But this coloring is really, really interesting. So we've got orange, yellow, and a few different shades of green. So we've got a dark green, the darkest green on the top, right here, followed by yellow, green lines running down the body of the gourd. And it's cut off by this color blocking in the middle, where we separate the greens with a section of orange. Fits in the palm of the hand. Very nice. A little bit something whimsical, but not potentially scary looking to party goers if they are maybe afraid of warts. But with that being said, we have a similarly shaped gourd, but this one does have the signature warts on it. Less of that bird silhouette, similar shape, but it doesn't look as bird-like with the warts on it. But also very similar coloring. This one is a touch lighter. Still has that stem at the top here. A little bit more dried looking than the previous stem. But we have those warts. And we have that yellow, orange, green coloring, which you'll see on many of the gourds here. There's a reason they are autumnal colors. But a very lovely piece for any decorations, any autumnal decorations that you're thinking of doing. It's good to have a variety of colors as well, just so that you can kind of see, to help tie everything together, you know. Move on to the next gourd, which is the final smooth gourd that we have. Now, this one looks like a lemon, a little lemon gourd. Wouldn't that be interesting? A lemon pumpkin. A pumpkin that is shaped like a pumpkin, but tastes like lemons. Wouldn't that be interesting? That would be fantastical indeed. But again, this one is smooth to the touch. Very lemony in silhouette and color. This one's quite buttery yellow. It is much more yellow than any of the gourds we've seen so far. And this one has a yellow-orange stripe running down the body, and the bottom has just the slightest bit of green, almost like it was dipped, like a little dipped at the end. It's got this marbled marbling kind of effect at the bottom. You definitely want this one. I don't blame you. It is a statement piece for sure. Understated, but makes you think a little bit about your typical preconceived notions of gourds. Let's see. So, this one, these always intrigue me. Probably the most out of all the gourds that we sell here. But these ones just have such an interesting spine. They have like a spiny structure. So it curves here at the top and flows down into these, they look like fins almost, where they kind of jut out, but there is a core body here. So we just have some extra spiny details. And these ones are also interesting because they also have that dipped effect at the bottom. Like you were to have dipped this in a vat of dye and let it sit for a few minutes before pulling it back out. It's not an ombre because there's such a harsh line of the differentiation of color. Very interesting. And we do have a couple of warts on these guys, but they almost look significantly less aggressive. So it looks like this one I would say is more of an aggressive warty texture versus these, which have a more subtle warty texture. Helps kind of bring and mesh everything back together. If you have smooth gourds and lumpy gourds, you can include something like this to help kind of tie the two together and really marry the entire display. Alright. And the final small gourd we have is this small pumpkin as well. So this one is closer to a pumpkin. Well, we had this small guy, which actually looks quite cute on top of the one I'm about to show you. But we've got this really beautiful pumpkin gourd, and it is missing its stem, so it is perfect to stack other gourds on top of, just to create some height in your display, or maybe it's like a table centerpiece or what have you. But this will be able to help you create some lift, some verticality, without having to use like risers or books or other things. If you want to do something that is beautiful all the way around, this will definitely help. That way you don't have to have a back of your display. And the coloring on these is really wonderful. We've got a mainly white body, but it has this marbled effect of orange and greens on the top, sprinkled on the top here where the stem would normally come out of. You can see that green. It almost looks like baked pasta, where you put a coating of cheese on the top and you put different kinds of cheese. So maybe you have like a thick layer of mozzarella with a slight layer of cheddar cheese, like a sharp cheddar with some oregano on top. That's what this reminds me of. But suppose I'm just hungry. You definitely want this one? Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna put the definitelys into the basket that I showed you earlier. This basket has been around for a long time. And I'm going to put the yeses in here so that we can carry them up to the register. Alright. So I'm going to place this guy in your basket. And I know we definitely said yes for the lemon. Did you want to put any other ones in the basket? The small pumpkin, okay. So we've got this guy. This will stack really nicely on top of the other pumpkin. Put that in there. And did you say you wanted the bird? The bird one? I absolutely place that in there for you. What else? What else? What else? Okay. So you definitely wanted the spiny one as well. This guy. I think this will look really nice with your display. Got a nice thing going here. I'll also place your decorative corn here as well. Is it silly to be more excited about corn than anything else right now? The corn is just so beautiful. Don't you think? Yeah. Well, I would hope you enjoy it since you're purchasing it. So I'll go ahead and place that in here for you. Alright. Now I've got a couple more gourds to show you. And we'll see if you are interested in any of them. But they're a little bit larger. So I'm going to grab the first one, which is a swan gourd or a snake gourd. This is going to be the snake gourd. Now, it is still quite dirty. Needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But these are really wonderful just to have, as they can kind of curve around the display. And because they're green in color, green and white, they can really add some dimension and color difference into your display. Obviously, we've got different colored gourds, but most of them have orange in them, which is a wonderful color, don't get me wrong. Or yellow, but the snake gourd has just green and white. So it can help with bringing those greens in together and making them really make sense in the space. Since you're purchasing these gourds for decorative purposes, it's always a good thing to keep in mind. Just got this speckling here. Speckling, 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 speckling. You definitely want this one too? I mean, that's a great choice. It is a wonderful piece to include. It is a little bit too big to put into your basket, so I'll just go ahead and put it to the side. Remind me when we go up to the register to grab this. Now, the next one I want to show you is a little bit unconventional. This is an apple board, but it is dried. So this is from last year's harvest. Typically what we like to do here is to not waste product. So for gourds, they have a really long lifespan, and we like to dry them out just so that people might be interested in them in the next year. Dried gourds are an interesting textural experience, as they feel very firm on the outside, as you can probably hear, but they are basically hollow on the inside, as all of the center has dried. There are no holes or anything on this gourd. Basically, it's just dried out over time, and this is what we're left with. The stem is still attached. And we've got the dried skin of the gourd. Apple gourds are really beautiful when they're not dried as well. They're also a green color, and they are this shape because it is reminiscent of, reminiscent is probably the best word to use, of an apple. Not quite an apple shape fully, but close enough. Similarly to how a snake gourd isn't really shaped like a snake, it's just got a long neck. I love these. I think they're just really interesting. I think it could also be a conversation starter at a party. If somebody asks, why do you have a dirty gourd on your table? You could say, it's not dirty, it's dried. And then that could launch into a whole discussion about gourds and how they work. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just interested in how gourds work. Nobody else is. Yeah, the gourd and vine has been in my family since the beginning. My great-great-great-grandfather founded the business for us, and we've been selling gourds ever since. We do sell them year-round, mostly to like the local witches in the area, local sorcerers. They are always in need of gourds, and really any plant supplies, so they kind of do the heavy lifting for keeping the business up and running for the most of the year. During this season, obviously, autumn is really popular for gourds. And everybody comes here to get their decorations. You're gonna pass on this one? I understand. One day, you will see the light of the dried apple gourd. And it may not be today, but you will see it eventually. Alright. I have one final gourd to show you today, and this is a grizzly bear. This has the most whimsical stem I have seen in a long while on a pumpkin / gourd, as this one is probably the closest to being both. It is a very sizable small pumpkin. A sizable small pumpkin. It is a sizable large gourd. kind of both. But it is this really interesting color. It's almost like a desaturated orange. It's not quite as bright as like this one is. This one's much more of a true pumpkin orange. But this one is really unique. I love grizzly pumpkins. I think they're very interesting. I think they're nice to add some size difference into your display. The texture on these is so interesting because typically if a pumpkin has warts, it will still be smooth to the touch in between the warts, right? This one's not like that. This one is interesting mostly because it's got this weird aged paper texture, almost aged leathery leather. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but you can kind of see that it's rough. It's not really smooth anywhere, which is odd for a pumpkin. And you've got, of course, that magical, whimsical stem at the top there, which is just chef's kiss. Truly, 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 one of the best things about pumpkins are that the different ways the stems grow and dry on the pumpkins. It's also a little bit fuzzy at the base. It's a little bit spiny at the base of the stem here. I'm not exactly sure why it's called a grizzly pumpkin or grizzly gourd, but I assume because it's just very, it's not very inviting looking, is it? To the average pumpkin consumer, I wouldn't say that it's gonna be the most enticing, but if you are more of a connoisseur of pumpkins and gourds, this one is very interesting. You want this one as well? I don't blame you. Having a couple of larger gourds like the snake gourd and this one will definitely complement what you've got in your basket very well. I will go ahead and put this with your snake gourd. And the last thing I want to show you is going to be not a pumpkin or a gourd. We do sell other items here, and this one is going to be an herbal incense. We get this from a third party. Comes from one of the farms owned by hobbits in the area. And it is their apothecary section. One of the farms around here is fairly massive, to be quite honest, and so the hobbits who farm have started to kind of diversify, and they have started using their excess crops and yields to make apothecary items. And we've got the harvest gathering. Harvest gathering. The harvest gathering. Now, this isn't incense, so you'll light it like an incense, and it will help bring some warmth, some glow. So it is a pleasure for the senses. And if you're having a party or if you're decorating for people to come over, I always find that having a nice scent is absolutely key to having a fully immersive and enjoyable experience. And this will definitely do that for you. It'll complement your little gourds and pumpkins nicely, as the scent notes on here are apples, cinnamon basil, yarrow, lemon thyme, and frankincense. I'll show you what's on the inside. We've got little herbs here, and that's going to be where all of your incense is. It's just nice to have, especially if you don't want to buy like a full candle, worry about your candle running out. I know we have a wonderful candle maker here in town, but it's always nice to have a variety. This is 2 ounces, so it should last you quite a while. You could even burn this in your house when no one's there, just for your own pleasure. Would you like to take this home with you as well? Good choice. Place it in your basket for you. Alright. Well, we've got a full basket here full of all corn stalks, your decorative corn, and your smaller gourds, as well as that incense I've placed in there. Alright, I'm gonna give this to you, and I just need you to take this up to the register where my sibling will ring you up and get you going on your way, okay? Thank you so much for stopping in today. We really appreciate it here at the Gourd and Vine. And we hope that we will see you back here soon, okay? Have a lovely evening.